Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. Jacalyn. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. Jacalyn at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm so thrilled to have you here today. It's a beautiful, gorgeous day here in my heart, as it always is, and I hope that there's some light shining in yours as well. Our show today is the Mallorca Connection, and joining me as always, my friend and co-host, Mr. Roland Friedl, joining us from where else? Mallorca. Welcome. How are you?
Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Yeah, great. Great to see you, and thanks for having me again. And by the way, I love the new jingle, the new intro. I love it.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. I'm quite proud of it as well. And as you know, we have our big launch on Monday, our big launch party. You're going to be there as well. And we can expect to see a lot of new and exciting things.
I'm very looking forward to it. We will rock it. It will be an amazing time.
It surely will. Roland, you're doing such exceptional work at SPARRTNER Performance, and you're helping people in so many ways. Before we begin our discussion topic today, I'd like to just spotlight you and have you share with our audience the work that you are doing.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I dedicated my life to support people and specifically leaders in organizations. So not only to better perform, to better lead their teams, to better motivate their teams. But for me, it's also important because all these leaders, they're there in a role, but I see them as a whole human being, and maybe their father, their friend, so they have a family, beloved ones who can't share their times because they're in their job working. So what really drives me is that these people during their work have a purpose, a fulfilled life, and not coming home totally exhausted after the work, depressed or even close to burnout, and then have no energy and no time and no sense to spend the time with their beloved ones or their family, friends. So most of these guys are really suffering. They have different addictions, like they work too much, or they do too extreme sport, or they're taking any drugs like alcohol, eating too much, or whatever. And my mission is to support these people also in this way, so they come home fulfilled, energized, and having the last time of the day and spending it nice and lovely with their beloved friends, with their spouses, their kids, their friends, and whatever. This is what drives me.
Wow, I love that, Roland. What kind of feedback have you been getting from the people you've worked with?
Oh, that's what really drives me. When they change their lives, and it's also nice because most of them become friends to me. So we really meet before COVID for lunch or dinner when I'm close to them, or we have phone calls, and they think it's a game changer. They get feedback from their friends. And it's funny because today I had the opportunity to learn from you about the elevator listener. They say I'd be much more present, meaning they're listening to their kids, they're listening to their partner, meaning they're not only home, they're really present. I think this is so important. It's not about a quantity of time you spend with your lover, it's about quality. And they said it's much better. And very often I heard from their wives, hey, thank you so much. I have a different husband, a different father of my kids, and we enjoy life much more. And this is really, but I have goosebumps. I really love that.
Well, you are an integral part of helping people change their behavior so they have better relationships with people. That's fantastic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I loved it. This really drives me.
Well, I can see because just in working with you over the last number of months, I feel this this sense of authenticity, this connectedness. You really are a bright light, and I appreciate you being here today and always.
Thank you so much.
Roland, last week we had a great show, and I'd love for you to just give our audience who wasn't able to make it a brief summary because we're going to bridge on top of that for today.
Yes, thank you. Yes, the last show, last Thursday, we've been talking about goal setting, and just a small summary is it's so important to set goals, to have a clear direction, what you really want. And I think that's the most important thing, because many people always tell us what they don't want, but be aware of what you really want, what drives you, what is relevant for you. And then write it down, not just in the head, write it down. And that's what we were talking about last time, is set SMART goals. SMART means S stands for be as specific as possible. So the clearer you are, the more clarity you have what exactly you want, the easier are the next step about the strategy and the planning. The M of SMART stays for measurable. Make it measurable. When do you know that you reached this goal? Okay, what is the desired outcome? How it feels? Measurable. Then A stands for attainable, meaning you can reach this goal. Maybe this goal sounds crazy for us. Some people around you, your friends or family, say, no, you never can do it. Attainable means that somebody already did it. So challenge yourself, find somebody who already reached this goal and model this person. And R stands for relevant. It's not a goal, it's not a nice to have, it must be relevant. You really want to reach this, to become this, to have this. It has to be relevant for you. This is the most important thing. And then have T stands for timeable. There's a set a clear time frame. By when do you want to reach this goal? Because otherwise, you postpone it, you have this procrastination, you start later. No, set a real time frame by when you want to reach this goal. So set SMART goals. That's what we have been talking about last time.
Thanks for that wonderful comprehensive summary. And for anybody who missed the show last week, I highly recommend that you go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and go to our playlist, The Mallorca Connection, and look for the show there. All right, Roland, building on what you shared last week, what is the difference between an action plan and a strategic plan?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So when we keep going, as you set this goal, and yeah, what's next? So some people have wishes, some people are setting goals, and then it needs the action. But to do the right action, to get the results, meaning to reach this goal, you need a strategic plan, action plan. What is the difference? The strategic plan is a kind of blueprint, and the action plan is a step-to-step process of how you go about this blueprint. Meaning the strategic plan is what I call, it's more a mental part. Okay, what is the best way to do it, of reaching a goal? And the action plan is the physical part of it, is the to-do list, what you want to do, until when, who, where, and so on and so on. That's the different.
Thank you very much. What do you think people have the biggest challenge with when it comes to, is it the action plan or the strategic plan? Do people get stumped on either one more often than not?
Well, depending on the person. So there are people who are more in their mind, and they love to create strategies, and then there are more the doer ones who are being more in the action. It depends on the personality, but it takes both, of course, especially when you do a strategic plan for a company as a leader. Yeah. You have to know exactly what is the strategy of the company. Where do you want to be with this company? Where you want to be with this team in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years? So what's the exact what's the strategic plan? But I believe also in your private life, when you have set private goal, it's cool to have a strategic plan, meaning where you want to be in 10, 15 years. And I give you an example. One of the people in Hollywood, Will Smith, most of them know him as an actor, but he's also very brilliant and very successful songwriter and singer, what most people don't know. And I heard an interview from him, it was really amazing, because I always learn try to learn from people who are successful and try to role model them what I need to reach my goals. And he said very clearly that from the beginning on, he had a strategic plan where he wants to end up in 20 or 30 years. And I said, okay, here's a strategic plan. And I said, this job is coming in. Does it help me to fulfill my strategic plan? Yes or no? Yes, I do it. No, I don't care about the money, whatever it is, I don't do it. So he has a clear strategic plan. So what is the best way to reach my goal? And the action plan is then what you're actually doing.
That's a great explanation, and I love that analogy with him because I wasn't aware of that either. So always learning something here on USA Global TV. Thank you, Roland.
You're very welcome. It's a pleasure and an honor.
I found sometimes as a coach, just the word plan kind of trips people up. The plan, I have to put a plan in place. And then sometimes people just head down a different path. But I'm wondering, what is the role of an action plan in a strategy or strategic plan?
Okay, so what the action plan does is once you have the strategic plan, so what is your long-term strategy with your business or with yourself or with your family, if you want so, then your action plan takes your strategic plan and makes it operational. That's what I said before. The one is more the mental one, the other one is more the doing one. So it brings, if you want to say so, your strategy to life. The strategy plan is more the theory. The action plan involves everything that you do in practice. So the purpose of your action plan is at the end to provide you with, maybe let's say you're a leader of a team, you're working with a team, to provide your staff, your team members with responsibilities, the tasks to do, also the resources they need to make the strategy impactful. That's what you do. But you can also use the same strategy plan, the same action plan, just for your private goals. It's no different. It's maybe you're doing by yourself, but I will talk later. Even if I do a strategic and action plan for myself, I always involve my network, and maybe somebody can help me or to get closer to this goal.
And I wonder, with people who are watching on the various platforms, anybody out there, are you using a strategic plan in your personal life? I think that would be interesting to find out, because this might be a big area of an aha for people. That's something that they might not be doing and they could be doing. So, Roland, why is an action plan necessary? You talked about what it is, but why is it necessary?
Well, why is it necessary? Yeah, action plans they're so useful, and I believe necessary, because they give you a very clear framework of thinking about how you complete your project, your goal. It gives you a clear overview what steps you have to do, and I will talk later how to set a smart action plan. So an action plan it's just a simple list of all the tasks you need to finish to meet an objective and goal. But it differ a little bit in the focus of a to-do list. A to-do list is something that you have to do. The action plan is really focused on one single goal. So I have a to-do list at home. I don't know, I have to go shopping, I have to go to the vet, I have to do this and this. So different things. This is the to-do list. And the action plan is a kind of to-do list, but everything is focused on just reaching this single goal.
And Roland, would you say that the action plan helps really instill accountability for the person to make sure that they are going through each of the steps that are necessary? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I was saying, also with the goal setting, when it's just in your head, it's not good. Write it down. Write it down. It's so important. And you know, there are hundreds of tool templates, digital version. I use a plain paper and write it down. But whatever helps you, you know. I think a tool, whatever it is, has to be there for you, not you for the tool. So don't spend I know people, they love to spend a lot of time on them tools, but this is not producing results. Producing results is going to action, okay? So whatever tool fits you, take it, but don't play around too much. Many people are so distracted by the sketches or so. Don't waste time on that, okay? Be clear, write it down, but use whatever you want, but don't lose the goal, okay, out of your mind.
I found that with clients also, that they get so caught up in the technology that they are completely distracted from creating the plan. And to your point, I personally like to write things down as opposed to typing it. I don't feel like it's the same level of commitment if I'm typing it on a list or if I'm talking into the phone. I feel like when I write it down and I see it there and I can physically go and check things off, that I actually get more accomplished. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think writing down is very important. And for my own story, I remember many years ago when this time management stuff came out, I also was buying this stuff and using this. It was not a digital version, it was a print version. And then after a while, I said, I spend so much time on it. No, I do it like this. For me, it's about being in action, being profitable, getting results, and spending less time on this gadget. Yeah.
That sounds
Just
like a
writing it
winning
down.
approach to me. We've got a comment, just hello, from Bakari Bad G. I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for watching. I don't remember seeing you before, but we appreciate you being here. Thank you. Okay, Roland, what does a good action plan look like?
Okay. A good action plan will, first of all, outline all the necessary steps that you achieve your goal. And it also is there to help you to reach your target efficiently by assigning a time frame. So not wasting time. So a start and an end day and to every step in the process. So first of all, know where you want to go. Yeah. As I said, you have to know which direction do you want to go. And as I mentioned before, the story from Will Smith, know where you want to go. Okay. What is your long-term goal? Where you want to be in 20, 50 years. Okay. So know this exactly. And the next step is what we have been talking about the last session is create a measurable goal, of course. That's what we did with the smart one. And then list all the tasks to be performed and the skills you needed. So write down everything you have to do. And also maybe you need some special skills, or when you lead an organization, be clear which skills are needed. Do we have the skills? Yes or no? And what we don't have, can we learn it by ourselves? Or maybe we hire a coach or a trainer who helps us so that we have the skills. So third is list all the tasks that you have to do. And then be clear if you have the skills. I give you an example. I told it, I guess, 2 shows ago when we were talking about a happiness circle, when my dream was, and actually my dream in the beginning and my goal was to living on the seaside. So I decided to move to this island in Spain. So one of the skills was, do you speak Spanish? For example, yes or no? Fortunately, I was studying in Spain years ago, so I already know I can speak the language, but it's so much one point. When your goal is, I want to move to another country, do you speak the language? Do you have the skills, yes or no? If no, okay, you know on the list, you have to learn this language, for example, stuff like that. Okay, so make a list for the task to perform, and also be aware about what skills you need, and maybe you have to learn something new. Or you hire somebody who teaches you or helps you. Then next step is, when you have really big, large tasks, divide them into smaller parts, because smaller parts are more manageable. Okay, so when it's a huge task, divide it in smaller parts. It's easier to get them. It's less frustrating, and maybe to help somebody to help you with some part of it or some skills of it. So some tasks or some goals may seem really harder to achieve. And this is why it's possible to break them in smaller parts. And it's easier for you or for your team, when you're leading a team, to execute it and also manage it. Okay, so large task, large goal, break it down to smaller parts, and then it's easier to execute it. And then decide on deadlines for everyday delivery. Be very clear, when do you do what? And of course, this is more specific and more detailed or more accurate and appropriate when you have tasks for company goals in the teams. Then you have to manage for clearer when you just by yourself. It's less complicated or less work, but also be very disciplined every day. What is my everyday I can do to come closer to my goal? What can I do every day to get a little bit better? I always say 1% every day, getting better to learn a certain skill, for example. And the 6th point is create, for me, it's very important, create a visual representation of your action plan. So before the digital one, I always had a whiteboard, a huge whiteboard, and it was in my other house before I moved to Spain. I had a huge room on the way to the kitchen, on the way to the toilet. So I had this whiteboard on the wall, and all steps have been written there. So always I was passing that. It was always in my focus. I always saw it, and I had another whiteboard in my office where I had the action plan clearly there. So it was always in my mind. Okay, so create a visual representation. If you want a timeline template or whatever, and especially when you set goals and action strategy plan with teams in a company, you need it so everybody in the team knows exactly what to do, when to do, by whom to do, and so on and so on. And last but not least, very important is, please track your actions very often. You need a reviewing process and say, okay, do I come closer to my target? Yes or no? Will I reach my goal in the time frame I set with the SMART goal? Or do I have to speed up? Do I need help from outside? Please track it, review it. It's very, very important. Okay, are you going in the right direction? And are you going in with the right speed? So track it. And this is also part of discipline. Some people don't review and don't track it because they're afraid of failure. That's so important. Reviewing, tracking it, making notes, and write it down. And be clear, are you coming closer to your goal or not? And last but not least, every action plan, what is for me helpful is asking some questions. I have 5-6 questions I'm asking myself, and it helps me to create this action plan step by step. And my first question is, what will be done? So what will be done? These are your objectives and your goals of the action plans. So it's not from me. I learned it years ago. They called it the 5 W's. Now they have the 5 W's and the 2 H's, the 2 H. So the first W is what will be done. These are the objectives and the goals for action plan. The second W is when will it be done? So this is the dates and the schedules. Okay, when and by when has it be done? Sorry. The third W is where will it be done? Maybe you have to need specific places where you take this action. Yeah, maybe you have to go. Okay, I go to a language school. I learned a skill there. I have to do this, and I go there, and I have to do this. Okay, so where will it be done? Can be helpful. And for me, one of the most important W's is why. Why are you doing this? This is very necessary to clear and define what is the benefit of this project or this benefit of this goal. What will bring it for you or as a leader for your company? How will it add value to your business, or how will it add value to your life, to your family? Okay, so be also clear about why are you doing this? And maybe one question can be, how will you doing this? So about the methodology that you're using, what criteria will be used? Is there a tool that you can use? Or is there a good practice manual or whatever? What are the stages? Okay, so this is how a good action plan is performed.
I love those W's and those steps. That's really fantastic. And I'm getting a whiteboard. You just inspired me to do that. I think that makes a lot of sense. And you put it somewhere that you walk by it all the time, that you can see it. And I just wanted to share with you. So I have a clipboard. I showed this before, and I write everything down, but then I actually file everything. I have a file folder. And so this is all the weekly broadcasts that I've done, and I can refer back to these to see who I had on when. The power of listening. I have a folder for everyone. So that, to me, it helps keep me organized, and it also helps me see how far I've come. And then Absolutely. If I need to refer to anything, then it's all there. I don't have to go, again, on the computer, there's a filing system. I like having the files right there too, that I can pick them up, touch them, and see what's been going on, what I've been doing, and where I'm going.
Absolutely. I love whiteboards. I use them for many different stuff. I use them for goal setting. I use them for action planning. I use them for specific goals. For example, when I had my business that I gave up years ago, I was 25 years. I had an amazing business. around the globe. And this was about, okay, which distributor how much sales do I make? I want to reach as in a team, and then splitting to the distributors. So I was writing down the distributor, his teams, and I was splitting the sales they have to do. So I always had a nice overview. I made it every single month, and then so I saw exactly who does what, and I can do. I love whiteboard. I love them more than any digital tools. And now I use digital tools because I travel a lot. I live in different places, so it's cool to use a cloud and you have access to it. But I still use whiteboards. I also use whiteboards when I'm looking for new clients, meaning that I know that I have to meet a buying center, different decision makers, a buying center. And then I also do my, I call it terrain management. Who are the decision makers? Who is involved? Who is talking to you, who is reporting to you, who is influencing you. So I always do this and I update this. I need to visualize it. Yeah. And we have a saying in German, and I'm Austrian, but I'm speaking in German. We have a saying, außer dem Gesichtsfeld, if you don't see it, you don't use it. Yeah. If you don't use it, you lose it. So I have to see it, as it always reminds me. Okay. I see it, always reminds me. It's so important because we all, as we've been had this discussion all the meetings before us, we have so many distractions. You know, we're always distracted by different stuffs, and so find a way. It's a digital one, or it's on your screensaver, or it's hanging in your bathroom, or whatever it is. So you have it in mind. You're laughing. I remember years ago. I don't know where I learned it. It was an American guy. I don't remember. I was reading a book, and you know, there was no YouTube, there was no internet. I just was reading books. I was listening to these tapes, hundreds of tapes, until I couldn't hear anymore because they're totally broken. So I was listening all these tapes when I was driving, because when I was building up my business in Austria and Germany, I made 100,000 of miles. So driving, and during the driving, I used this time to listen to this inspirational speakers. So my personal development and learning was reading books at home early in the morning. I get up at 4 normally, but also using the time in the car. Listen to this. And this guy told me, set your goals, set up challenging goals. And you know, I was young at the time, so it was a money goal, how much you want to earn. So I went to a private bank, and they gave me, you know, the sponsoring checks. You know, this huge sponsoring check when you sponsor something on a golf course or something. Yeah. So I bought this. I got this sponsoring check. I was writing in the sum, and I was putting it on the how do you call it? The surface, on the
inside of the roof.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Above my bed. So it was the last thing when I fell asleep, and it was the first thing I saw in the morning, and it worked. It sounds so crazy, but I did it, and it worked. It really worked for me. I reached this goal in a very short time. And I had a very good friend, and I still have a very good friend. And at this time, he had the town I was living at the moment, the best bar restaurant. I was there, I'm a little bit ashamed to say, every day I was there, mostly for lunch. Every day I was there. And we became very good friends. And he wanted to sell it and do something different. And he wanted a crazy amount for this. And I said, you know what? One day somebody's standing up and will pay. Say, I don't believe it. I said, you do what? Go to the Grenchka Bank. This was a private bank just around the corner. Get this sponsor check and write the sum on it. And I said, just do it. If it's not working, just do it. So he was writing it. I put it. His girlfriend said, what the fuck are you doing? Are you crazy? I put it in the dormitory. So I said, it's the first you see in the morning when you up, the last time when you see him. And you know what? He sold it to this price.
Wow. I totally believe it.
Money. And he sold this restaurant bar for this price. And everybody said, nobody's so crazy to buy it at this price. He sold it at the exact price.
Wow, that's so uplifting. And I truly believe that. When I used to do a lot of driving when I had my corporate career, I would always put on motivational tapes, because if I say to you over and over again what a great person you are, how much you bring to the world, or if I say you're a loser, you're depressing, you're definitely at some point, if you keep hearing that over and over, you're going to go one way or the other way. You're either going to believe that you are this person, or you're going to get beaten down by this person. So I am totally in support of that. And I love these tips that you're sharing. I know there's some more wonderful things we're going to discuss, but first we're going to take a break. And again, from our audience, people watching, please put some comments in here. We'd love to hear from you. Get involved in the conversation. You've got an expert here and he's willing to take your questions. So please take advantage of it. Put something in the comment. We'll be right back. We're going to hear from one of our team members here at USA Global TV, Diane Floyd-Boehm, and her newest book, Song of Peace. We'll be right back.
Kapayapaan, kapayapaan, kapayapaan.
Diane Floyd-Boehm's A Song of Peace tells the story of a young lad named Tommy whose fervent wish for peace on earth touches the hearts of his friends and family, spreads to his community, and eventually unites the whole world around making his dream of peace a reality for everyone. Sit down with the children in your life and share Tommy's amazing story of love and hope. Sing your own song of peace and invite the children to join you. Tommy's tale is more than just a story. It's a movement, and everyone's warmly welcome to take part.
Kapayapaan, 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 kapayapaan.
You'll find A Song of Peace, along with many other wonderful learning and enriching opportunities for children of all ages, at DianeFloydBoehm.com.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Welcome back, everyone. We're here on USA Global TV, and hello to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio. Our show is the Mallorca Connection. I'm here with my co-host and friend, Mr. Roland.friedl, who's been giving us a lot of smart tips. And in the first part of our show, we learned all about the difference between an action plan and a strategic plan, why they're both important, and what's included in an action plan. We learned some really explosive W's. My takeaway is whiteboard, even though that wasn't included in that segment. But now, Roland, I'd like to find out, what are some smart actions?
Okay. So actually, ladies and gentlemen, you remember SMART goals, and it's the same abbreviation for SMART action. Before I come to this, what is very important for me, actually, when you start new, for me it's normal. It's my daily experience, my daily task. What I'm doing, setting goals, setting strategic plans, setting action plans, not only for myself but only for my clients. But when you're a new beginner, it's also very helpful when you're writing down your task in this case. You need also, because I was talking before with Dr. Jacalyn about we're always distracted, also write down what distraction, what threats can occur, and what is your strategy to overcome this. Okay, so because the road is not a straight one from your goal to receiving, from setting a goal to receiving a goal. The road is not a straight one, it's a binding road. There may be obstacles on the way. maybe a free fall down, maybe there was an accident or something. So also have a clear plan. What could happen? What could prevent you? What for continuing? What could prevent you from keep going? Maybe you have thoughts of giving up or family or whatever. So make also a clear plan and a clear strategy. If there are any threats, if there are any distraction, how you handle this. This is very important. And also for the task, when you write down the task, I will in a minute explain you what is a SMART action plan. But when you write a task, and I mentioned it in the last show a little bit as an outlook, write down at least 20 for each goal, 21 tasks you will do, 21 things you want to do. Why? This I learned years ago, is because, as I mentioned in the last show, the first 5, 6, 7 things that come to your mind that you have to do to reach these goals are things that always have been in your mind, and to be honest, didn't bring you closer to the goal, because otherwise you would already be there. So get deeper, think, take your time, and don't be frustrated. It doesn't mean that you sit down and then you have 21 different ideas how to reach this goal. Start. If you're blocked, close your notebook or whatever you're using as a tool, close it, do something else, come back to it. Or maybe you have a walk, or you see something, you get an idea, or maybe you talk to something, maybe you listen to something and you got another idea. So take your time. Maybe it takes a few days, weeks, and sometimes one of my goals, they could take months until I had all these ideas. Because as I started, I'm 57, as I started, there was no internet to Google, to get help. So it was a different time. And what helped me at this time, because there was no Dr. Google to search, is I was talking to successful friends, how they reached their goals. And maybe they had an idea from me, maybe they had a hint from me, maybe they knew somebody in their network who could help me. So talk to them. I know there's another strategy when you really bring a new business. Maybe you keep it secret for the beginning, so not to awaken the wolves, not to awaken competition. But for some goals, it really makes sense to talk to other people, and maybe they can help you. Maybe they have an idea, maybe they know somebody. And on the other hand is when you make it official, maybe you need some more pressure to make it official that you really go and don't give up. This is very important. So be clear about what obstacles, what threats can be, and how to overcome it so that you don't give up. And really think about many, many different steps to reach your goals so that you really find an appropriate way to do it. It takes time, and sometimes it really comes overnight. Sometimes it takes a longer time, but it's always good. In my opinion, on my experiences, really the huge goals, the relevant goals, take a longer time. And at my time, as I mentioned before, there was no Dr. Google. I was talking to friends. And when I say to successful friends, I mean, when I give you an example, when your goal is to open a restaurant, for example, please don't ask your neighbor or your family members who have a totally different job. Doesn't make sense. Go and find somebody who has a restaurant and is successful, and ask this person for help and advice. I hear it so many times, and I see it so many times, that people ask an opinion from a person who has no experience in this business, and this doesn't make sense at all. Okay, so ask somebody who is already there where you want to go in the industry that you want to engage. Okay, don't ask your neighbor, don't ask your family members. Doesn't make sense at all if you want to reach your goal. Okay, so but now, Dr. Jacalyn, I answer your question. What are SMART goals? Okay, so as I said before, it's the same abbreviations. So SMART goals, also for SMART actions, and this is very useful that your action plan is really as successful as possible. So let's check it together. S stands again for specific. It means, is it really clear about what exactly you're going to do? Okay, is it really clear? Is nothing missing? That's what I say. Go for 21. Okay, I was reading in the books many years ago. Go for 21. Okay, really, are you absolutely clear what exactly you have to do to reach this goal? So be as specific as possible. M stands for measurable. Are you going to be able to check if it's done or measure how far along you are? Okay, so it must be measurable. When do you reach this goal? Yeah, and also when you reach this goal is okay. When are you going to set this action, and when is it finish this action? Okay, so make it measurable. Check it if it's done, yes or no. And I know some people suggest to make it from 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. No, it's done or not done. It's like, with the wives, they're pregnant or not pregnant. Okay, so don't lie to yourself. It's done or it's not done. Okay, so the A stands for attainable, for achievable. So is it easy to do? And if it looks pretty challenging, as I said before, it's a large task. Break it down into easier, smaller individual steps. Okay, so when it's too large, the task you have to do, if possible, break it down to smaller individual steps, and then you will achieve it. And the R, you remember the R? It stands for relevant. So does this relate to your goal? Does this, what is it doing? Brings it closer to your goal? Is it relevant to reach your goal? And if not, then maybe you have gone off on a tangent. So keep the eye on the prize, keep the eye on the goal, on the reward, on your why, where you're going. Always keep this in mind. Remember the story I told you about Will Smith? Is it relevant? Brings it closer to you? Yes or no? I can tell you later, if you have time, a story about that from my stepson. And the T stands for time sensitive. So make sure you fill in the when column. By when, not only when you started, by when is it done? Okay, when is it done? When you can close the chapter and go to the next action. Okay, this is SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time sensitive.
I was laughing about the pregnant comment. You either are or you're not, and I think that's it's so relevant, because did you complete it or didn't you? It's not, well, somewhere in the middle. No, it's either done or it's not.
Yeah, because I see so many times, especially in sales, when the sales rep said, yeah, 80% or 70% or 60%, it's done. No, it's done or it's not done. Yeah,
right. Did you make your goal or you didn't? That's pretty
and you
easy
did the
to
action
determine.
and you made it or not.
And Roland, something else that you said I wanted to talk a little bit further about. I think whomever you go to about whatever your idea is, or if you want to start a business, that can really make or break how you move forward. And what I mean by that is, for example, I have a couple of businesses, and some people told me I was insane to leave my corporate job and my paycheck and my benefits. And if I listened to them, then I wouldn't be where I am today. But it wasn't easy, and it's not easy, but it's where I need to be, where I want to be. So my point is, you may get feedback from people that is not the feedback that you should listen to. You should listen, in my opinion, to your intuition, and go to people who are in a similar industry. Ask them, what are some of the challenges that you found during your journey, and how did you handle them? Or if it didn't go the way that you wanted it to, what did you learn from it? Would you mind sharing that with me? Would you mentor me?
Absolutely. I always say, if you open a restaurant, ask a restaurant, or if you want to open a bakery store, ask somebody who has a bakery store, not a laundry. Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all. And my experience is that people who are successful in the field, most of these people are spiritual, and they also want to give back something to the society. So most of them are really helpful to become a mentor to you and support you, and find a mentor. Really go there. And I remember I was very young, and I was in a hotel, and I saw he was he was a minister in the Austrian government, responsible for finances, and he also had a very, very large, successful accounting company. And he was sitting on a bar, and I was 20 something. and he was 50 years old or something, or in 40. Was very, very successful. Still is very successful. An old guy now, but still very successful. And I took my heart and I said, okay, let's go there. And I went to the bar and said, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. May I present myself? So who I am, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, I love what you're doing. I see you and what you're doing, and you're like a hero for me, or a role model. And I want to be successful like you. Do you? I would love to have you as a mentor. And if you say yes, please let me know what I can give back to you. And he looked at me and I said, yes, why not? And I had him, and then still my best friend since many years, a very successful entrepreneur. I guess I shared this story in a previous show, the guy I met when I was skiing. So my opinion is successful people are willing to help. Unsuccessful people always will tell you why it will never work. And you will always have people who are jealous. When you start doing something new, something excited, something different, you want to go for business, you want to be successful. In your surrounding, you will always have people who want to hold you back because you're a mirror. You tell them, oh, when I do it and you don't do it, maybe you're a lazy ass or whatever. Okay. But you also have to also keep in mind, especially your family, depending on the background you have. I come from, as I said, I come from a lower middle class. And my family, my father always wants to come back and say, no, don't do this. It's not working. Maybe you end up in jail or stuff like that. But you're in a family. Your family don't take it too serious. They just want to prevent you from going wrong. They just want to prevent you from failure. But if you have friends who are not supportive, maybe you think about this friendship.
I think that's a great point. And something else I want to add is when you find people who are willing to mentor you, who are excited about mentoring you. I know that you and I both do a lot of things for people. We don't keep track of it. I don't have a list of, oh, I helped her, I did. But people who want to hold you back, they will keep track of it. They will tell you every single thing they've ever done and why you shouldn't do whatever it is you're doing, because look what they've done for you. And they're the kind of people that I try to avoid, because it's not a tit for tat, so to speak. It's about how can we help each other?
Yeah. And I remember my experience when I left the corporate world to start my own companies. And you have people who will say it's never working, you will fail, you will come back, and then you will be happy when they take you back. Then you have people really attacking you, what you're doing. I remember when I found my company, and of course, I was inviting friends to present what I'm doing, because maybe somebody's interested in the business model or somebody's interested in the product. Why not? When you open a boutique, most of the people opening a shop, they don't have a lot of budget for advertising. So you bring in friends, maybe you have some champagne or some snacks. You just invite friends in the beginning in the neighborhood, and you're not expecting that he or she's buying something, but maybe she's recommending it. So that's how I started my business. And you know what? Some so-called friends, they call other friends. Roland will call you for the new business. Don't pick up the phone or don't go there. So you have people who will attack you. You have people who don't believe in you. And you know what? When you're successful, it happened to me. I didn't believe the stories, but it's happened to me that I moved to Mallorca. I had this fancy penthouse. Then I moved to this finger, all these cars. And some friends came over, the good friends came over, and told the other ones. And I said, I always knew that you will be successful. These people who fight against you and tell you why it's not working, they say, I always knew that you made it. And you're lucky. I said, you know what? When you went for a soccer game, when you went to a bar for drinking, when you did this, I was working. The whole fucking time. I didn't go on vacation. I was paying a price. And that's what I end up is what is so important. You have to pay a price. And what this means is you do the task because you have to do it, and not because it's just easy, you have time, there's nothing on TV, there's no party going. No, you do it because you have to do it, and your action plan says you have to do it today. And this means paying the price, not going on a party, not going on vacation, paying the price. This is so important. And when you are in a relationship with somebody, maybe you're married or engaged, talk to your partner, say, hey, this is my goal. I say a career goal or business goal. This is my goal. This is my action plan. And I told the same to my first wife. I said, honey, are you with me? But be clear, we have to pay the price. I work hard. This means you're taking care of the kids. maybe the next 5 years, actually at the end it was only 2.5 years, maybe the next 5 years you don't see me on the weekends, maybe I'm exhausted, but afterwards we have to have a nice life. So be very clear, because you have to pay the price. There is no free lunch. Sorry for that. There is no free lunch.
That is such a great point, and I can definitely agree with you. I know, just to let our audience know, I have no social life whatsoever. I worked all through the holidays. In fact, I was live streaming for 6 hours on New Year's Day. And when I write out my schedule for the week, every day I put in a certain amount of time that I'm going to get a walk in, and that's in the morning, and then the afternoon I'm going to get my solid core workout, and that's my social life. That's what I need to do for me, and I'm not angry about it. I'm not bitter. I am so happy because I am making things happen, and I'm making things happen with people like you, Roland, and our team, and people who are watching us. And so I'm willing to pay the price because it's exciting. It feels great, and I'm watching it grow.
Yeah, because you have a mission and you have a strong why, and your why is much bigger, much larger than any obstacle on the way.
It's very true. But I have to say, to your point, like, I've lost a lot of friends. I've had a lot of people throwing rocks at me, like little stones that became rocks, that became boulders. I'm like, whoa. Yeah. And in the beginning, maybe a year ago, it really bothered me and I'd get really sad, but I have coaches myself and I have mentors. And then I just realized, that's not about me. That's about them. That's about their insecurities, and they can do whatever they want because I'm going forward. And that's what I keep doing every day.
This is always when you go on a new journey, you will leave some people behind, but you will meet new people. This is also when you have it was also with my marriage, when you go on a journey, when you develop yourself and you work on yourself, and the other one, the partner or friends, does not, you're going to lose them. Or they hold you back and then you give up. This is things. When you have decided you want to stay and not change, or you really want the life you're dreaming of, and then you pay the price and then you're losing people on the way. This is normal.
Yeah. And to your point about a marriage, I'm divorced myself, but I think it's really interesting. If you don't work on yourself, let's say in the marriage, and this happens all the time, then people break up because one person's going this way and the other person's going that way. And it's like, what's the best revenge? Oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to get Botox. I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, look at this person. But why weren't you that person then? Like, why did it take this major life-altering event for you to decide to work on yourself and show up? I think that's so important, that whatever situation you're in, whatever financial means you have or don't have, you have to work on yourself every single day, whatever that means.
Yeah. I was laughing about when you mentioned revenge, a short story. When I started one of my businesses worldwide, a franchise system, and I remember I was on a revenge tour too. I never had a problem when somebody says no to my business opportunity or no to my product. No problem at all. I show it to everyone, and maybe the business opportunity can help them to get an opportunity to make a business, to make a better living, or the product helps them. If somebody says no, I'm fine too. This is absolutely okay, because I also say no to opportunities I'm offering a product, so that's fine. But when somebody is fighting against me, talking bad about me, talking bad about my business, talking bad about my product, and spread this message to other one, then I'm on fire. And what I did is, I read it. When I started this business, I was 30 years old. So 1994, I started this business. And I was rocket. And I was writing down all names. There was no internet at this time. I will never forget this. And then when the money came in, first of all, I was sending them cards from all over the world where I made vacations. And secondly, I was sending them the paycheck every month, a copy. Every month. And then somebody said, okay, I got it. And somebody apologized and somebody just had been ashamed. But I really did. I learned this from another guy. I made a revenge list and sent them my success. Maybe it sounds childish, but...
No, that can spur people. Yeah, no, that can actually be the catalyst to get people to keep going, I think. Yeah. I think if you feel resentful or angry and it's holding you back and you can't take that and channel it in some positive way, then that's another story, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this has been another brilliant show, Roland. I've learned so much, and I just love the interaction that we have. So I'd love for you to just summarize for people who just joined us. I see some new folks are here. Please go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV, and go to the playlist, The Mallorca Connection, to watch the beginning of the show. Roland, a summary would be great. Thank you.
Yes. So from last show, set a clear goal, what you want to achieve, what you want to be, what you want to have, what you want to become in your life, and then go and make a strategic plan, meaning what's the long strategic for you. Maybe when it's a company goal, what's the long strategic goal for your company, where you want to head to, or when it's a private, also have a strategic goal where you want to be with yourself or your family on the long term. And then make the action plan. So the strategic plan is more the blueprint or more the mental part. Yeah? And then bring this to life by the action plan. Action plan is the task and also involves the skills you need to reach your goal. And as I said before, it's not the first 5-6 things that came to your mind. Go for over 20, because the first things are always in your mind and it didn't help you till now. So go further, go deeper, take your time, speak with as many people as possible. Google, search. I mean, now it's much easier. You can Google everything. You get help. You can read or listen to tutorials. Learn the skills and role model people who are already there. And be very specific. So be very, very clear what exactly you're going to do. Make it measurable. So check it when it's done. Okay. Make it achievable. If it's too big, too large, too challenging, split it into smaller individual steps. Then it's less frustrating, more encouraging. Be sure that this is relevant, that everything that you're doing, is it related to your goal? Is it related? Brings it you closer or not? So don't be distracted. Have a plan for distraction and threat, what you can do when this occurs, and then be time sensitive. So make sure when each task is done, so by when it is done. And I wish you all the best. And if you need any help, contact us. We are very happy to support you with our long experience, and we help hundreds of people all over the globe. And yeah, go for it. Go for it. It's your life. Make it as purposeful and as fulfilled as you can ever dream it.
Roland, please let people know who are listening on the radio how to get in contact with you, and what are the offerings that you provide to people.
Yeah, maybe I launched a new website. It's finished right now. It's just my name, roland.friedl.com. It's ROLANDFRIEDL.com, rolandfriedl.com. And this is a summary of what I'm doing. And when you're interested in business, sparring, training, coaching, consultant, you find a link for organizations and leadership, and then you will be linked to my SPARRTNER Performance website. If you're interested in the individual coaching, we're making a decision where to go. Maybe you want to leave the corporate world, get a coaching about how to found an enterprise. Maybe you want to have a living life like me, a wireless life, moving between different countries, how to do that. Get a coaching. You will be linked to my Wireless Life Rocks website. When you're a man and you want to join a men's group to really work on your masculinity and share with in a sacred room with other men in a sacred room. We meet online. We have a US group. We have a German speaking group in Europe. You will also find it on there. And it is meant sparring for men. You will have a link there. So on roland.friedl.com, my name, you will find everything, and then you will get a link to the different websites. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I was busily putting up the new websites, so we'll just take a look. Sparringformen.com.
Sorry, the 4 is the figure.
Oh, the figure 4. Okay, I will correct that. All right. Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you being here. And Roland, brilliant information as always. I look forward to seeing you on Monday. I hope everybody can join us between 2 and possibly 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, January the 10th, for our launch party. We have 12 co-hosts, and we've got 4 guests and 2 surprise guests in addition to that. So we look forward to having everybody there and seeing you. And Roland and I will be signing off for now. We'll see you back here on our new time, which is
every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, meaning 2 p.m. East Coast time in the US.
all right. So that's Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central European Time and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see you next Tuesday in literally 4 or 5 days from now. All right.
Yes.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All the best. Thank you.